Carlos, I want to dive right into one of the more interesting teams in this division, and that is the Carolina Panthers. It was kind of an up and down season for them last year with Bryce Young and Dave Canales as the first-year head coach there. We saw him get benched, but then we saw him come back, and when he came back, he was playing actually really well. I mean, they didn't win a whole lot of games in general, but they were competitive in a lot of those late year games. And I mean, I'm talking about they were going up against teams like the Chiefs, the Eagles, Tampa. They competed with those teams very well. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do this year and how they're going to take that next step in the right direction.
Yeah, like you said, you saw Bryce, like, even when he got benched, I remember us talking about it, like, how would he react to this? And man, it says a lot about his character and his maturity level to bounce back in a positive way, where he could have went sideways very quickly and just really, but it was good to see him bounce back. I mean, he's a guy that he works hard, he does the right things, but Canales is slowly turning this guy around, man. He played very well. He just needs more weapons. I think McMillan, them drafting him, helps out, but I think they got to go out and get a free agent wide receiver that's out there still. Like, he needs a little bit more help for them to compete in. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think this guy's the second best quarterback in the NFC this year, in the South, not the whole NFC.
Oh, I was like,
yeah.
Holy
crap.
crap.
I think he's going to be the second best quarterback in the South. I actually think the Panthers are going to finish second in this division. They just are building a nice team very well. Chuba Hubbard's turned into a good back. As much as they've tried to bench this guy in a way, they bring in Miles Sanders, they draft Jonathan Stewart. Like, it's just like, hey, and then he's just like, I'll just play my way in, and he's done that. He's turned into a really solid back. They add in some defensive pieces with Trevon Moehring at safety. They bring in Bobby Brown at defensive tackle. And they already got a stud at Derek Brown will be healthy, and J.C. Horn at the other corner. So they're that healthiness should bring them back to be a competitive team. The only thing I think they didn't fix was their pass rush. They lost Brian Burns. They were 29th last year, and I don't see it getting any better. So I think that does hurt them. But maybe Trey Hickerson from Cincy's out there. Maybe that's somebody they look at bringing in. With him being unhappy, but they needed a little bit something there to help out on that defensive rush.
Yeah, they did get Nick Scorton out of the draft, which I think was their Band-Aid for the pass rush, because as you said, they ranked 29th in sacks last year, and honestly, overall their defense wasn't that great. But they did go out, they did add those pieces that you did add. But, dude, it's about getting to the quarterback in this league. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Anytime that you see these elite-level teams, it's because they have one thing in common, and that's because they can get after the quarterback. Yeah. So, I mean, I know a lot of people want to focus on the offense, especially if you have a quarterback or a head coach like Dave Canales, who was an offensive coordinator with Tampa, did great things. I think he's going to do great things with Bryce Young and the development of him. I know that they went out and got McMillan. I think McMillan is actually going to be a really good wide receiver. I mean, if you look at honestly speaking, if you look at the secondary in the NFC South, outside of Atlanta, there's really not like huge threats. Like Tampa, you can pass the ball pretty easily against Tampa, as much as I hate to say that. And then New Orleans, I don't know what New Orleans is doing this year. So, but yeah, I mean, as much as you want to develop these offenses and, have explosive offensives, it has been proven time again that defense wins championships, because look at the poor Cincinnati Bengals last year, putting up like almost 40 points a game, and they still continue to lose simply because they cannot stop a nosebleed. So it's going to be interesting to see. I do think that the Panthers are heading in the right direction. I did not like how competitive they were there towards the end of the year, especially against Tampa. Let's be honest.
I like
if it wasn't four,
I don't like it.
I didn't like it too much. And let's be honest, if it wasn't for Anthony Nelson punching that ball out against that game against Carolina, Bucks probably would have missed the playoffs. Atlanta probably would have ended up winning that division because it was between us and Atlanta. And Carolina would have been, kind of the hot team coming into this year. So it's going to be interesting to see. I do think that they are going to be competing for second place in this division. So should be good. It should be a little bit of a more competitive division for sure moving forward. These teams are getting pretty young in the South here.
They are. I mean, I think they're going to be like a 9. I think they're a 500-ish team, so maybe like an 8-9 if they, it's not a huge swing if they're having a good season, like a 9-8. I just don't think there's enough, like you said, in the pass rush. They got to go against the Bucks and Penix. Also, the Falcons are pretty good, and just their out of conference schedule too. So it would really help them to go out and see what's in that free agency pool right now. They build a decent offensive line, but they really need some help. As much as I love Leggette's press conferences, I love it. It's a top set for me than a Jameis Winston hype speech, but Leggette's, man, those press conferences,
solid.
yeah, they're solid. Like, but they need help. Like, I don't think he's that guy either. I just think he's hanging on. But like a Keenan Allen could definitely help these young receivers out. Like he knows the game inside and out, and he could definitely help Leggett and McMillan out quite a bit.
Yeah, some veteran presence there in the locker room never hurts anybody. So, we'll see what happens. I think second place, competing for second place in this division is definitely a realistic thing for the Carolina Panthers. Panthers fans, you have a lot of good things to look forward to. So excited to see how Bryce Young develops.